Hello friends. Welcome to Current Affairs Review. Topic for today's video is Foundation of the Indian National Congress and its utility in the freedom movement. The foundation of the Indian National Congress was the result of a process of political awakening that had been initiated in the late 1860s and 1870s and finally took a major leap forward in the late 1870s and early 1880s. The Congress was preceded by several associations like Indian Association, Madras Mahajan Sabha, Bombay Presidency Association. However, most of the demands raised by these associations remained unfulfilled, and by 1885 the formation of an All India political organization came to be recognized as an objective necessity by nationalists all over the country. William Wedderburn, in his biography of A.O. Hume, claimed that the latter had come across many secret reports in 1878. These hinted to large-scale discontent among the lower classes and the conspiracy to overthrow the British rule by force. Hume met Lord Dufferin, and together they decided to establish an organization with the educated Indians. This would serve as a safety valve by means of opening up a line of communication between the rulers and the ruled, and thereby inhibit a mass revolution. The Congress therefore was concluded to be a creation of British rule. This safety valve theory has been discredited in recent researches. According to some scholars, Hume did indeed play a very crucial role in the sense that the Congress leaders involved Hume to assuage official suspicion. The moderates sought to arouse political consciousness among the masses. They attempted to achieve the unification of the Indian people on the basis of common economic and political program. The moderates were successful in waging an ideological struggle against colonialism and imperialism, which sowed the seeds of later-day nationalism. Their economic critique of colonialism served as a major blow for the moral foundation of British rule in India. The Congress's idea of nation was contested by various marginal and minority groups, the Muslims being the first one of them. The increasing Muslim alienation ultimately culminated in the formation of All India Muslim League in 1906. Congress was primarily an elitist body prior to the arrival of Gandhi. Gandhi, though involved the masses, the latter repeatedly deviated from his idea of non-violence, while believing in the same time that they were following their messiah into the world of Gandhian Raj. Gandhi brought about major qualitative and quantitative changes in the Congress but failed to ensure support of the non-Brahman castes. Gandhi's campaign, though, succeeded in undermining the moral and religious basis of untouchability, but failed to deal its economic and political roots. The Dalit leaders were of the opinion a proper share of economic and political power, which could be achieved by securing guaranteed access to education, employment, and political representation. One of the major contributions of the Congress in the freedom movement was bringing women within its ages, which was even more prominently noticeable from the time of Gandhi. In contrast to the earlier notions of ideal Indian womanhood that concentrated on the aspect of motherhood, Gandhi shifted the focus to sisterhood by negating women's sexuality. Women actively participated in various movements like Rolat Satyagraha, non-corporation, civil disobedience, Quit India movement. Gandhi's immense appeal to women may be attributed to the fact that he portrayed women's service to the nation as a part of their religious duty. Given his emphasis on non-violence and maintenance of respectable image of female satyagrahis, Gandhi remained well within the limits of accepted norms of feminine behavior, and thus the men were assured that their women were safe in Gandhi's hands. Thus basically the women participated because their male guardians wanted them to do so. Download material for this issue from our website. Please like, subscribe and hit the bell icon. Thank you.